Hello, you lovely people, and welcome back to the Nightmare Cabin. We're getting a bit of hot weather in the UK at the moment, and the whole world's gone a bit mad. But in all fairness, it's not been the people; it's just been the media trying to make something out of nothing, trying to stay relevant. But I've been looking forward to this all day. This glass has been in the freezer, as you can see, and I've got a cold brewski. So I'm going to pour this out, and then we're going to talk a bit about some heavy metal. How's that sound? So, we're going to listen to that. Oh, it's nice. Oh, we're nearly there. Here we go. Lovely. You've got to stomp it on the thing, and then it stops the fizz, the foam going over the top. Anyway. Cheers, you lovely people. You wouldn't like it. You wouldn't like it. I'm drinking this just for you, you know. Right. What are we talking about? Right. I ordered this ages ago. And then anywhere that was selling it, the postage was a fortune. And I kept looking on Amazon to see if they'd be doing it. And then they did. But it wasn't available for ages. And then I sat there waiting. And then boom, it became available. I ordered it. Then it got delayed, but then it suddenly turned up. So here it is. This is the 4 CD, all singing, all dancing edition of Holy Diver by Dio. So now I know I always say this. I did do Black Sabbath all the way through, and I do intend to do Ozzy Osbourne all the way through, and I will be doing Dio all the way through. So stick with me, but I think this is going to jump the queue a little bit because this actually turned up yesterday, and I spent yesterday evening and this morning listening to this, and the only thing I haven't listened to is the remaster of the album, which I felt you don't really need that, do you? That's not what you're interested in. So here we go. We've got the you want to know, is this worth buying? Is this reinvesting in? You've probably already got that. And you want to know if this is worth getting into. Now, on the off chance you've not heard Holy Diver, maybe you're a bit of a young whippersnapper and you're still finding your way. Holy Diver is one of the greatest rock, heavy metal albums of all time. And it's essential. So yes, you do need this. Get that first though, if you are a newcomer. But if you are already fully fledged, which you probably are, you've already got this. You want to know, is this worth investing in? Short answer is yes. But I'm going to tell you why now. Right, so you've got this nice A4. It's not A4, is it? No, that's not A4. I don't know what size it is. It's a book edition. Like a DVD. You've got revised, slightly different artwork there. Sorry, I just pulled my mic there. I'm all curious now what A4 would be. I know it when I see it, but I'm trying to look at something so I can... It doesn't matter. So, yeah, there's the original artwork. And here you've got the slightly revised. And you got some really cool artwork on the back there. And you've got... Oh, I've got the hype sticker just fall out there. I'll grab that in a sec. It came like that. This is the back cover with the track listing. And where'd this go? This is your little hype sticker on the front there. Let's wait for that to clear. Nope. Basically 4 CDs. You've got the 2022 remix by Joe Barresi. You've got a 2022 remaster. Did you really need a remaster? Yeah, when you've got a remix. CD3 live in Fresno in 1983. And CD4 is outtakes, singles and B-sides. You've got new artwork, extensive liner notes, rare and unpublished photos and memorabilia. Right, so first off, you've got a pretty thick booklet, as you can see in the middle there. You've got a really good essay by Mick Wall. You got the original artwork there. Mick Wall's pretty much a flagship in UK music press, be it rock and heavy metal, classic rock, Metal Hammer, Kerrang magazine, and he's got quite a notable amount of biographies under his belt as well. Cool photo there of Vivian Campbell. Cool picture there of Jimmy Bain. You've got like a bit of a history on, bit of backgrounds about Dio's history, so from Rainbow and Black Sabbath, leading up to him forming Dio and then doing Holy Diver, and basically it kind of puts across that everything was on the line at this point. Like he'd had a fairly successful career. He had two classic. I mean, I think you could maybe argue more than that. But he'd done 3 albums with Rainbow, Rising being the classic album. There was a note here at one point that Rainbow Rising was actually voted the #1 heavy metal album of all time in Kerrang magazine. I'm trying to find when. It doesn't say exactly when that was, though. I think that was at the time. But in the early issue, Kerrang, the groundbreaking British magazine renowned as the Bible of heavy metal, Rising voted the greatest heavy metal of all time, a masterpiece of untrammelled imagination and virtuoso performances. I'd like to know when that was, though, but it was cool nonetheless. And then it goes on to explain, just how it really was shit or bust time, because although he had been quite successful, this was the first band Dio had done, apart from Elf, that, he'd been in from the ground, well, he had been in Rainbow from the ground up, but Rainbow came off the back of Ritchie Blackmore, had him leaving Deep Purple, and now he had to sort of form his own band that was basically him joining Black Sabbath, again another established name, but now this was his time to shine, really. And it was, if this record wasn't a hit, who knows what would have happened. You've got tour dates, you've got the front of Kerrang magazine there. This is a really good booklet. I mean, and it is a really good essay. Lots of good. There's a bit of a note as well from the guy that did the remix, explaining what his intentions were, explaining as well that this wasn't a something he took lightly. Anything else good in here? No, you got a quote there from the Invisible, I think it is. But you've also got that on the original booklet. So that's the presentation of the thing. It's a nicely made book, hardback book with a really good booklet. But now get into the music, right? So I've not listened to the remaster yet, and I'm not really bothered about it. Excuse me. Right. First and foremost, what you need to know is CD number 3. Live in Fresno, 1983. Now, this is a full unreleased concert up until now. There was a 70-date tour off the back of Holy Diver, which started in... Hold up, we're nearly there. Here we go. Bear with me. I've got the tour dates here. There's a thing here that tells you the whole tour dates of the Holy Diver tour. Yeah, here we go. Now, the tour started July the 23rd and finished in January. So, July 23rd, 1983. And the last date of the tour was January 7th, 1984. Well, Fresno was recorded in December. Does it say it here? Of course, I can't see it when I'm looking for it. Yeah, Fresno. Right, so this is, like I say, the first date of the tour, 23rd of July. This was recorded December 28th. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shows. So this is 6 shows from the end of the tour out of 70 shows in total. So the band are on fire at this point. We're near the end of the tour and the band are in full, all guns blazing mode, for want of a better word. I kid you not. This is one of the best live albums I've ever heard. And I love a live album. I can't believe this concert has sat on the shelf since 1983, and here in 2022 they've only just released it. That's how good it is. It is absolutely fantastic. You've got a fantastic set list. I'm a bit of a funny thing with set lists, so I don't want to get into it too much in case I give away any spoilers. When I don't like to know a set list when I go to a gig, and when I buy a live album, I don't look at the back until I've listened to it. So I'll tell you what, I just want to say something, and when I put my go silent, and when I put my thumb up, you can put the sound back on. Ready? Right. 3, 2, 1. Silent. Now. Right. They open with Stand Up and Shout. Straight from the heart. And there isn't a second. There's a cigarette paper between the two songs. Literally, as one. Bam, bam, ba-dum, bam. It's fucking awesome. I love it. The way they just go straight into the song. Fantastic. Anyway. Sound back on? Cool. Right, so I won't give away too much of the set list, but there's 6 numbers off of Holy Diver. I was thinking, I wonder if they do the whole album in full, but you'll have to wait for that. Well, you don't have to wait for it. If you did want to see the album done in full, Dio did do it. And there is a DVD out of that concert, and there is like a double CD thing of it. So he did do the album in full eventually, but not on this tour. I thought he might have gone out there all defiant and not done anything of his past, but no, he does do a couple of Rainbow songs, and he does do a couple of Sabbath songs as well, and they meld nicely into the whole set. It's 12 tracks on here, but one of them is an intro, and there's a bit of a medley as well where he joins a couple of Rainbow songs together. But Vivian Campbell does a phenomenal solo at the end of one of the songs. Vinny Appice does a fantastic drum solo. All 4 are on top form. Dio, Ronnie, of course, is fantastic vocally. This is worth the money for this live disc alone. And we're not finished yet. Right, onto the remix. Now, remixes can be... fucking hell. Remasters can be controversial. I'm not really a sound stickler. Like Gully, who you remember from the rock show with Gully and Joe, you would have been able to play him Holy Diver off of this, then Holy Diver off the new remix, then Holy Diver off the remaster, and you would play any track off of this. You would have been able to play all 3. So Stand Up and Shout, say. You would have gone Stand Up and Shout, Stand Up and Shout, Stand Up and Shout. He would be able to tell you the difference between the 3. I'm not like that. I can pretty much, as long as it doesn't sound like shit. I think a lot of it comes into what sort of stereo system you have. So I didn't bother with the remaster yet, but I did listen to the remix, and then I played a couple of tracks off this just to get a feel. But and no, I went a lot of it from memory as well. What I can say, this new remix is kind of a bit more rough around the edges, and it does pack a bit more of a punch. All he said was, he says in the liner notes as well, he did feel a little bit a bit apprehensive because Ronnie wasn't there to police it. He didn't want to trigger the drums or do anything digital. He wanted to keep that warm analog sound. And all he really did was put the drums up a little bit and the solos up a bit, is what he says. What I can say is that I felt overall, especially on I really noticed it on Caught in the Middle, was that this feels a lot more raw. Like I say, it's got a bit more of a rough edge to it. And there's a couple of songs where even at the beginning you hear Vinny go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the song kicks in. Some of the solos sound a bit rough, that's not right. It just hasn't got that sort of studio sheen over the top. That mastered. I don't know how to. What I'll say is this sounds live. This sounds like you're in the room with the band just playing. It's got a demo quality to it, and I don't mean that in a rough sounding like. It just feels. It feels like a demo, but in the best possible way. It's got that last lick of paint, that last coat of paint, taken off it slightly. And some of the guitars do sound more raw, and yes, some of the drums do sound a bit more punchy, and some of the solos do sound a bit more just rougher. Like the solo, for example, in Rainbow in the Dark, you know. It just sounds like it's come through. It sounds like it's come straight out of the monitor, and it hasn't had like a nice little sheen in the studio. I hope I'm putting this across properly, but yeah, it's got a more raw sound to it, and it's got more of a live sound to it, and it feels like you're just in a studio with the band, and they're just playing the album in full for you. So it's really, really good. Now, with a box set like this comes out, and when there's a remix or a remaster or whatever, people get their knickers in a twist. I think this isn't going to replace this. This is a companion piece to this. You know, this is the distinction level. This is the extra. This is, if you've played this 100 times and you've had this for 20 years, this is just a nice little icing on a cake to go along with this. And I think this is what people get with like when an album's remastered or remixed or whatever. Oh, and especially if it's re-recorded, don't get us started on that. But yeah, this is for fans of the album to revisit and reacquaint themselves with, and to study further. So the remix is a nice little companion piece to it, and a really good companion piece as well. I think it's really worth listening to. I wouldn't have said this is it now, like this shouldn't be in print anymore, and this new remix is the edition to get, and this is going to go out of print. No, nothing like that. This should still be in print, and this should still be the first edition people should get. This is for fans, hardcore fans that just want to expand on the original album. I think that's. I think I've summed things up pretty nicely there. So you've got a nice remaster. I've not listened to that yet, but I'm sure it's fine. The remix is worth a listen. That's all I'll say. It's definitely worth a listen. I really enjoyed it. Like I say, it's the album again, just with a nice rougher edge. The Live in Fresno 1983 is fantastic, and I think that is worth the admission price alone. And then we've got CD4, which is basically odds and sods. Evil Eyes, which was the B-side to Rainbow in the Dark, or it might have been Holy Diver. It was the B-side to the single anyway. Really cool song. Really cool song. I've never heard it before. It's not on this, is it? No, this is just the standard track listing. Yeah, really enjoyed that. You've got a outtake that's worth listening to as well. Is you hear Ronnie giving it 1, 2, 3, 4, and I quite like the sound of that one. let's slow it down a little bit. Let's play it sort of like at a half tempo. You know, like I love hearing stuff like that. I mean, with those Ozzy box sets, like the Black Sabbath box sets, when you hear Ozzy going, "I can't fucking hear myself in the mic," you know. But yeah, you got an outtake of "Don't Talk to Strangers." You've got 2 outtakes of "Invisible," really good. "Rainbow in the Dark" with an alternative solo. Some outtakes of "Straight Through the Heart," and then you've got a 7-inch edit of "Rainbow in the Dark." "Evil Eyes." Oh right, so "Evil Eyes," you've got a remix of that and the original version that was the B-side of "Holy Diver." So there you go. And yeah, another "Rainbow in the Dark." So 1 to 7 of CD 4. So yeah, CD 1, the remix, the whole concert, both previously unreleased, and then CD 4, tracks 1 to 7. So all these outtakes and this new remix of "Evil Eyes are all previously unreleased as well. I'm really happy I bought this, and if you're a fan of this album, I think this is well worth reinvesting in. And like I say, this is an expansion and a companion piece to the original album, well worth getting. I forgot how good this album was. It's absolutely fantastic. Every note is in place, every song. The whole album has got an ounce of fat on it, and I really enjoyed getting reacquainted with this album. I realised how much I miss Ronnie. I realised what great guitarist Vivian Campbell was, and whilst reading those notes, you know, I was listening to it, wondering, I wonder what would have happened in like my fantasy alternative world. What would have happened if Vivian Campbell ever wrote with Phil Lynott, like after he left Dio, if he had started a new band with Phil Lynott, or if he had joined Thin Lizzy or something like that. I think those two would have made a great album. And it just so happens that John Sykes was in talks of joining Dio at the time, but then he got the job in Thin Lizzy and went on to do the Thunder and Lightning album, which was a phenomenal album. And he went with Vivian. So it was just funny that I was thinking that, and then I read that anyway. So it very well, it didn't nearly happen. The opposite nearly happened. John Sykes nearly joined Dio, not Vivian Campbell joining. But if John Sykes did join Dio, who knows what would have happened? Because it was all taking place in London. So who knows? We'll never know. But yeah, I realised it made me realise again how great a guitarist Vivian Campbell was in those days. I know he's in Def Leppard now, and it's all a bit meh, isn't it? But yeah, this is a phenomenal album, and it's definitely worth getting this again. The remix I really, really like. The Odds and Sods is worth a listen. And that concert, you've got to get that concert. It's absolutely fantastic. So hopefully I gave you what you were looking for, if you were curious about getting it and was wondering if it was worth picking up. And yeah, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, give us one of them. Subscribe if this is your first video. And give it a share and all that good stuff. And yeah, I'll be back with a video soon. And take care, everyone. Thanks for watching. And I'm going to go drink this now. Cheers.